I'm so excited to welcome you back to Cruising in Alaska. I am bringing to you one of my favorite people, and we're traveling all the way up to Anchorage. Some people may call that real Alaska. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later as well. But everybody, I want you to meet Tony. Tony, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
And Tony, how do you say your last name?
It's Borowski.
Spiroski, awesome.
Yep.
I didn't want to risk it, but now I know.
I'm sure you've done great.
Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to Alaska, things like that.
Okay. Yep. So as you mentioned earlier, I'm Tony Spiroski. I'm with Salmon Travel and Tours here in Anchorage. It's actually funny that you said people refer to Anchorage as the real Alaska, because it's so funny. Everyone outside of Anchorage usually says Alaska is 15 minutes away, or Anchorage is 15 minutes away from Alaska. So it's so funny that you say that, because we are obviously very true Alaska, but we're really the gateway to adventure all over, such as down to Juneau, quick flight away. So I'm based here in Anchorage. I'm actually a lifelong Alaskan, born and raised. I went to school in Oregon, and then I moved back after, because it's hard to be away from Alaska for so long. And I started working in the travel industry, which has been amazing. It's a very fun industry to be in. Just being able to share my love for Alaska and everything that it has to offer, from the natural landscapes to the folklore and culture, which is so rich here, so diverse throughout the state as well. Being able to share that with people that have had Alaska on their bucket list for so long and finally do adventure up here. It's just such a great feeling. And so that's a little bit about me. And that's actually one of the co-owners of the company that keeps walking behind.
Yes, Tony. I wanted to tell everybody, one of the reasons when I had the idea to do these podcasts, your company came to mind right away because of that lady wandering behind you, right? Actually, when I was new to Alaska, she was so encouraging to me. I had just completed my first season, and I went to Alaska Travel Industry Association convention, and she was so encouraging and inspiring, and she didn't even know it, but she was like dropping nuggets of wisdom all over the place. And I was hungrily gathering them up, and
Yes.
I have watched your company grow. And so that's what I'd like to hear about now, is tell us about the history and just, the story of Salmonberry Tours.
Thank you. Yeah. So Candace, who just walked past, Candace Kodak, she started a company a little over 13 years ago, based here in Anchorage. Her office was on 3rd Avenue, downtown Anchorage. It actually started as a walking tour company. And then that didn't become fruitful, because as it turns out, the public land center down the street offers a free walking tour.
You should have done a little more market research.
Right. But through demand, she actually started doing van tours. And so people were asking her to take them to the Wildlife Conservation Center. So it's the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, which is located on the Seward Highway, about 45 minutes south of Anchorage. And so she got her CDL, so she's CDL certified, and started guiding guests beyond Anchorage. And from there it grew to other locations, including Alyeska Aerial Tram, including lunch. And that whole tour, that right there, is now actually one of our most popular tours. And it's a great cruise ship tour and transfer. So people use that to get between Anchorage and the Seward or Whittier cruise terminal. And so that tour has just taken off. It's the Turning an Arm tour. But we started doing dog sledding, we started doing glacier walking. And so we've grown from this, mom and pop tour company to being kind of one of the premier tour operators here in Anchorage, which is through a lot of hard work. And so we're located on 4th Avenue now. We've hopped a block over. It's really nice. Exactly. Exactly. We're across the street from the visitor center log cabin. So it's a really convenient area. We have 2 of our partners on either side of us. We have the trolley right across the street as well, the Anchorage Trolley, which is a really popular tour. It's a quick city tour, which is really great for everyone to do. And so we've grown from that. And then Mandy, who joined the company, maybe 8 years ago, purchased into the company 9 years ago, purchased into the company when I started working here 4 years ago. So they are now the co-owners. And it's really amazing to say that we're a woman-owned and operated company. Obviously, there's a few exceptions, such as myself. As marketing manager, I've snuck my way into the company. It's really great because people actually seek us and reach out to us because we are woman-owned and operated. We are local. We are open year-round. And we kind of are, we are on the cusp of keeping things unique and fun and informative here in Alaska. And so we really pride ourselves on being local Alaskans that are offering genuine experiences, and we try to go off the beaten path. And so as much as we love doing the thing that every person wants to do in Alaska, we try to guide them into the hidden gems, essentially. And so we love offering dog sledding year round. That's something that people are so surprised by, that you can go dog sledding in the summertime, which, as you know, you can easily do it on, well, not easily, you can do it on a glacier via helicopter. And then we also have custom carts here with our partner Dallas CV in Talkeetna. So guests can do anything from, eco tours, which is really informative with a naturalist guide, to being more adventurous and doing, like kayaking, things like that. And so that's kind of the history of Salmonberry. And so we do our day tours based here in Anchorage. And then in the wintertime, we have a satellite operation in Fairbanks to do our Northern Lights tours, which our Aurora tours are very popular. It doesn't align with the cruise season, but it's a great way for the guests to come back to Alaska after they've done the cruises and kind of explore more.
Yeah.
And
what I really like too about your culture of your company, you and Candace and Mandy, and everybody I've met from your staff, I can really tell that your passion, your you walk this really comfortable line. At least it looks comfortable from the outside. I'm sure it's a lot of hard work, but you walk this comfortable line of being casual and energetic and professional and fun, which really, I can tell it translates all the way down to your company.
Thank you.
And so that's why I think it's so smart for the travel professionals watching this to contact you, because as you know, when we do these travel shows and you have people walking past your booth all day, one of the things people will say is, I don't want to cruise because it's not authentic, or it's not the real Alaska. Or I love it when they ask us where we live and they're so surprised that we live in Alaska,
Exactly.
And one of the objections that you have to overcome is that by visiting for a week or two or coming on a cruise, you're going to experience the real thing if you work with us.
Exactly.
We're the real thing,
Exactly.
And that's why, my insider tip is just Salmonberry Tours.
Thank you.
Contact you for the land portion when you're landing in Anchorage or in Fairbanks. So,
Exactly.
And I do compliment you because your culture does pass down to the people, and travel professionals can feel really confident that their guests are going to have both a good time and get their money's worth, but they're going to feel like, I think everybody who spends any time with you feels like that you're their best friend.
Thank you. You're my best friend.
No, you do, and I love that about you.
And yeah, that's thank you. And that's something that we love highlighting, is that we are local Alaskans. We live here year round, and people, as you mentioned, people will call our office looking to kind of put together a custom package for their clients, and they're like, "Oh, are you in Seattle?" And we're like, "No, we're here in Anchorage. We live here year round. Alaska's always in season," which is actually what our tour guide vests say. Alaska's always in season. And so it's super fun, and we love sharing our knowledge. We try to keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening in Alaska's tourism industry. And then that's why we have such amazing partners like you that keep us up to date, especially in the Southeast, of what's happening down in your region.
Yes, down in the tropics of Alaska.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some practicalities. How many vehicles do you have?
Yes. So we have 8 Sprinter vans. And so the Sprinter vans themselves hold up to 15 guests, and then the tour guide. So the tour guide, as I mentioned earlier, is CDL certified. And so they have a headset which goes all throughout the van. Our vans are AC, heated. We have trunk space, we have overhead storage, and then we max our tours out at either 10 guests per tour, which is common for our cruise ship tour and transfers, because that way it fits the perfect amount of luggage. Otherwise, our tours are either kind of capping out at 12 guests or 13 guests.
Mm-hmm. And so how far in advance, if an agent has a group, like a considerable size, maybe 20 or something like that? Or
Mhm.
would you do even larger groups like that in stages, or how far in advance would you want them to call you? And like, what's the biggest group you've ever managed?
Exactly. So the largest group that I personally have ever managed was about 50 passengers. And so at that point, instead of doing multiple Sprinter vans, we just had a motor coach, which is perfectly fine. And so the motor coach company will provide a driver, and then we'll have our step-on guide as kind of a chaperone and, insight, knowledge, and, helping them travel throughout the state doing what they were doing. And that group specific was a native elder group that visited Alaska from California, and they wanted to experience the native culture here. So that was really amazing. We took them up to Denali. We did cruising down in Whittier. We shared so much, and they loved it. And the tour guide that we had on that was actually, he has his degree in native land rights. And so we love like setting up our specific guides that have really, strong knowledge on things with the group that works best for them. And so we always prefer, the sooner we get a request for an itinerary, the better. Especially in July, because July, everything is sold out no matter what. No matter how many strings you pull there, it's always difficult getting rooms in July throughout Alaska.
Is there any such thing as calling you too early?
No. So the one thing about that is, some of our partners don't release their rates until a year in advance, or even later than that. And so the thing is, we would offer you a quote, and then, subject to change once we get the final numbers from all of our partners. But about maybe like a month ago is when people actually start planning their summer travels. And so our summer itinerary requests are really starting to roll in, which is funny because, in August, we're starting to get our winter itineraries. And obviously, we're still getting requests for winter itineraries right now, but you're starting to see a really big pickup of those summer itineraries. And there's already dates in July and already dates in June that are sold out, specifically in Seward for overnight accommodations. And then even some of the cruises are already sold out. And so it really depends on your group size and what you're wanting to do, where you're wanting to go. That's like a guideline. But, anywhere within like 6 months is a really good time to start honing in on your planning.
So you've said a few things that I want to make sure people understand what that means.
Okay.
So you have the Sprinter vans,
Yes.
but you are a broker for everything in town.
Exactly.
So our agents can contact you for example, what?
So if they want to do overnight accommodations, if they want to ride the Alaska Railroad, if they want to do any tour and activity throughout the state, that's what we specialize in here in the office. We're curators of travel. And so we like to get a Alaska wish list from the travel agent for their clients. And then from that, we help plan their itinerary, a multi-day itinerary, which is going to be all inclusive. And we can add little secret prizes and gifts for the clients throughout that will have waiting in their hotel rooms, things like that. And so it's something as simple as, us booking the accommodations and the tours and the activities throughout the state, or being fully escorted. And so we have a few ways to go about it, which is really exciting. But we're lucky to have so many partners like you that work with us, and that we're able to create these itineraries with the vendors that we trust, that meet our standard of quality and our safety that we prefer. And then, we can kind of pass this itinerary on to travel agents at a commissionable rate that they can then provide to their clients and be confident in.
Excellent. So you and I talked a little bit beforehand to prepare for this. So
Yes.
We were talking about the benefits of a land package, that you contact Salmon Berry Tours and set up a land package before or after your cruise. You said you recommend do your land package before your cruise. So
Exactly.
This is what the professionals are saying. So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? So what we recommend then is we recommend you book your guests into Anchorage Airport, and you've contacted Tony in advance. And so let's imagine this family of 10, multi-generational, is flying into Anchorage. Tell us about what you recommend from there before their cruise.
Yes. Question number 1. What are the age ranges? Question number 2, room configuration. Question number 3, dietary restrictions. Question number 4, mobility restrictions. And then also beyond that, what they want to do. So are there specific activities that they want to do? Or are there specific features that they want to see? So like if, they really want to go kayaking, they really want to go on a Segway, they really want to see glaciers, they really, want to see whales. And then from piecing all that together, we can create this itinerary to them. And so for a multi-generational family, flying into Anchorage is, it's really easy. Flying into Alaska is actually really easy. I know it's a long haul trip for a lot of people, but taking your cruise or flying in, it's pretty simple. We have international airports. We have some
airport is lovely.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Thank you. So is the Fairbanks Airport is actually really beautiful as well.
It is. Mm-hmm.
So we have some great infrastructure throughout the state. But for a multi-generational family, flying into Anchorage and then kind of basing themselves here for a few nights and then reaching out to the rest of the area. And so overnighting in either downtown Anchorage is what I always recommend. Downtown Anchorage, we prefer boutique style properties, so smaller, not the chains, but things that are more true Alaskan. And so maybe they have local owners or something like that. The artwork's all local. We love highlighting that. Our local partners. And so downtown is what we always suggest because downtown is the heart of Anchorage. It's extremely walkable. There's a lot of local shops and eateries you can go to, and there's no sales tax here in Anchorage. So,
ooh, no sales tax.
No sales tax. I always recommend the Fifth Avenue Mall is right there, a few blocks away from our office. If you need any rain gear or if you need anything warm, go there. And so it's really great because if you're staying downtown, you can walk to any of these restaurants, you can walk to any of these shops, you can walk on the Tony Nose Coastal Trail, which is a 10-mile trail spanning from downtown all the way down to the airport, to the airport area. And it just has beautiful views of.
I love that trail.
It's so beautiful. And you can rent a fat tire bike, you can walk it, you don't have to do the entire thing. But so being based in downtown is great. Or if you want to be based near the airport, that's also a really good spot, especially if you're only in Anchorage for one quick night. Because if you're going to stay by the airport, we recommend staying on Lake Hood, which is the busiest float plane base in the world. And so it's a really cool place to even see. And they typically offer shuttles from the airport to their hotels. Whereas none of the downtown Anchorage hotels, or maybe there might be a few, but a lot of our partners down here in Anchorage, downtown Anchorage, they're not offering shuttle service. And so, but it's a quick taxi ride, or we have car service here, we have Uber, we have Lyft. It's really easy. Alaska's advanced. We're in the 21st century. You can call a quick car to
we have flush toilets and cell phones.
Yes, it's great. We have cell service. It's actually so funny because it's not uncommon for us to get the question, will my US phone work in Alaska? Will my U.S. currency be accepted? Like, yes, we are part of the United States.
How good our English is.
I know. Yeah, it's really funny. But I love just sharing our knowledge and what Alaska really is. But so basing in Anchorage, and then we have a really great tour. It's our Talkeetna Choose Your Own Adventure. And we designed this tour for multi-generational families. And so we'll start here in Anchorage and we'll go to Talkeetna, which is about 3 hours north of here. It's the base of adventure. If you've ever seen the TV show Northern Exposure, it was based on Talkeetna. And so it's a very
the radio announcer.
They're actually bringing that show back. So I'm excited to see if
Is John Corbett going to be on it? That's all I care about.
I don't have that insider information yet, but it would be so great if Talkeetna just becomes even more popular, because it is really popular already. The cruise ships already send a lot of people to Talkeetna. It's a quirky town. Their mayor's a cat. They have a really amazing artwork there. A lot of local breweries and restaurants to go to. So we'll go to Talkeetna on a day trip, and the family can split up and do any of their pre-selected activities. So if they want to go zip lining, if they want to go on a jet boat or rafting, if they want to go fly fishing, there's so many different activities they can do in Talkeetna. Doing a flight sing of Denali in a bush plane is a really popular activity to do, and you can actually land on a glacier in the summertime, or taking a helicopter out to Sheldon Chalet and having a picnic out there, or doing our custom dog carts that we have at Dallas CV. You can do that in Talkeetna, and we provide lunch, and we have complimentary snacks and water on board. Actually, so we just did a project where we're now green, and so we used to provide one-time use plastic bottles on all of our tours, and now we have these glass bottles that we have on all of our tours.
Oh, nice.
So they're they're pretty heavy duty, so they won't break. But we have this new hydration station here in our office and commercial cleaning systems, and so it's really great. We can say now we're green.
That's great.
And so we provide that on all of our day tours. But so our guests can do that and then come back to Anchorage. Or if they want to overnight in Talkeetna, that's always something that's really popular, especially because Talkeetna is the halfway point from Anchorage to Denali. So something that's not uncommon is for our guests to take our Talkeetna Choose Your Own Adventure, and then instead of coming back in the van with us, they're actually going to overnight in Talkeetna and stay at a private cabin or stay at the historic roadhouse. And then they'll the next day take the train up to Denali, and they'll stay in Park Entrance Denali for a few nights, do the Tundra Wilderness Tour, which is the bus that goes into Denali to explore that and see all the highlights, or go all the way back to Kantishna, which is what I always recommend. It's a long day, but you can always fly back at the end of it, and that gets you to the actual back of Denali, the end of the road, 92 miles in. And then our guests from there's other fun activities in Denali, like the Cabinite Dinner Theater is really fun. It's an interactive dinner experience, and so it's a play, and they make the crowd join in, and it's a great dinner. There's also horse carriage rides that our guests love doing, ATVs, things like that. And then coming back down to Anchorage, because Anchorage really breaks up everything nicely. And then so overnighting again in Anchorage if they want. And then typically we recommend doing a small boat cruise before going on your larger cruise. So the reason for that is because the smaller cruises, like Juneau Whale Watching Tours, gets you a lot closer to the things that you want to see. And so whether your main goal is to see whales, or if your main goal is to see glaciers, doing these small boat, and when I say small boat, they could be up to 100 plus people on them, or they could be as small as 30 people. But doing these it's more intimate, and so it's going to get you a lot closer to the glaciers, a lot closer to the whales, which also we can't guarantee. But
we can. You wait till June to go whale watching.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you know what I always say about the even though you're on a cruise ship, why you should also go on a boat tour is if you went to New York City, and even if you were staying right in Times Square, you wouldn't sightsee out your hotel window. Right?
Exactly.
You would get out and you would walk around. And going on a small boat is like that. It's like the walk around version, because you're getting down, you're down on the level of the water. And of course, getting closer to glaciers and closer to things than you could. So you were popping out so much fabulous information, and it's all just
so much. I know.
I'm super happy. We are going to offer a transcription of this, because I'm just going to have lots of links like crazy to everything that you just said. Because you named so many great things to do, a huge font of information. Just finish up by saying how they transfer then onto their cruise.
Yeah.
And how you help do that.
Exactly. So if their cruise is embarking from, or just disembarking from either Whittier, Prince William Sound, or Seward, Kenai Fjords National Park, Salmonberry offers our cruise ship tour and transfers, which I mentioned earlier. And so that's going to be starting here in Anchorage, and then going down along the Seward Highway. And the highlights will be the Mount Alyeska Aerial Tram. We provide lunch at a local eatery. We visit the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, which is an amazing
That place is great.
facility.
I love it.
It's great. And then if you're going to Whittier, you get to go through the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel, which is the longest straight tunnel in North America. It's so cool. It's such an amazing feature. We've actually had people take this tour and transfer without actually going on a cruise because they wanted to go through the tunnel. So it's a big highlight. And then we'll drop you off at the large cruise ship terminal. We'll help you take all of your luggage out of our van, and then set you free onto your cruise to enjoy your multi-day cruise. And then if you're going to Seward, instead of going through the tunnel, we're going to continue along the highway, and then we'll make a stop at Exit Glacier, which is a really, really popular viewing area. And so we'll do a quick nature walk to a great vantage point of the glacier, and then continue back down the Glacier Road to get to Seward, and then drop off our guests at the large cruise ship terminal there. And then we also offer these in vice versa. And so for Anchorage, between Anchorage and Whittier, that's 6 hours, and it's currently $199 per person. Between Anchorage and Seward, it's 8 hours, and that's $249 per person, and that's all inclusive. So any admission fee, the lunch, it's all included. And so that's how we like to get our guests to their cruises. And then from there, they'll they'll do the cross. But if they're going to be flying into Juneau, you can easily do that from Anchorage. And so just taking a quick commercial flight from Anchorage to Juneau and then boarding your cruise there we recommend flying in a day earlier before your cruise if it's taking out of Juneau, just to make sure, you know, there's no weather holds or things like that. It's just it's easier. And if you're going to fly, it's better to kind of decompress before getting on your cruise.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is you recommend do the land part first, but if they have to do it the other way around, it's also possible.
Exactly, correct.
And the reason I know that you recommend that is the moving from thing to thing. And I think people can tell, you know, the action-packed part of, you know, packing and unpacking and moving from town to town and doing those adventures is so fun. But after 5, 6, 7 days of that, then you get to chill out for a little while on the cruise ship and it just unpack once. And then, you know, that way you'll come back home with brain and heart full, but you won't need a vacation after your vacation.
Exactly. And it's so nice like being on the large cruise ship because your hotel is taking you to your activities that you're doing. Your hotel's taking you, your food is there. Like so yeah, it's a great way. And so ending on that, where it's just things are just easier for you, is what we always recommend. You know, get your adventure out and then relax and then do your adventures along the way. We found that our guests had better experiences by doing a land portion first.
Excellent.
Not to say that doing
so how do we get in touch with you? Because everyone's going to want to become your friend now. Because so much.
Thank you.
Who do you want us to call? What's your email?
Yes. I know. I feel like I just spewed out so much information. I have so much more that I want to say. So call me. Our number is 907-278-3572. You don't need to speak with me directly. We have an amazing sales team here in our office. Eli, our sales manager, Anna, who's been with us for several years, Mary, Mac. We have so many more employees as well. And so it's amazing to talk to any of them as well as me. And then also another great way is emailing, which is going to be reservations@salmonberrytours.com. Salmon like the fish, berry like the fruit, tours with an S.com. Or visiting our website, which is salmonberrytours.com. And then a really good way to actually sign up for commission is going to be on the top right-hand corner of our website. There's a button that says Travel Trade, and then you register as an affiliate to either book our day tours directly, and then get commission, or then reaching out to us for an itinerary, and then we'll have your information ready, so we can build in your commission to the custom package that we.
Tony, that's so great. It was so great talking to you, and thanks for joining me on this new venture. And
thanks for having me.
See you out on the road. Will I see you out on the road?
Hopefully.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign off now, but I know the phone's going to be ringing right away. Get ready.
I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Tony.
Bye.
Wasn't that great? I love Tony so much. He's a font of information. So make sure you check the show notes to dig deeper into some of the things that he was sharing. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. See you next time on Cruising in Alaska.